everything is a blur. I'll say that. I remember I worked at.
Let me see this.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
Who just
look.
okay. All right, I
Shout out
gotta
Ray
reach out
Smooth.
to him. Yeah, shout out to Ray Smooth. He was a board op.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one time wanting to fight Kanye about you.
Oh.
When he talked bad to you, I'd ready to go into the station. Yeah.
He did.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many stories that I could tell. And a part of this documentary, to get back to that,
Yes. Okay.
is, last year when we had the 50th year anniversary of hip hop has a part in our culture, especially in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
And so at that time I was like, you know what, I think it would be a good time to, put together a documentary. And it's taken us some time to get to this point, certainly. But, it was just that I felt like hip hop, WAMO synonymous. Why not?
Yeah.
And so, I took it upon myself. I reached out to my mentor, Alan Lincoln. Shout out to him. Reached out to a few others just to kind of call some names in. And here we are, and I'm excited to tell the story. I literally can say that I've given blood, sweat, and tears for WAMO.
Mm-hmm.
I can say that I found my voice at WAMO. I found a wife and a child, through WAMO. So that being said, I owe WAMO a great deal, right? And so I think it's, it behooves me to tell the story, tell it right, tell it authentically, and then as well as just, share the true history of what, WAMO did, and, obviously stepping into the future, what they'll continue to do. So I'm really excited about this and happy that I can be the one to do it.
Mm-hmm. And people are excited. I remember during Juneteenth this year when we kind of like went on Man on the Street and did some interviews with people. Everybody had a WAMO story.
Right.
Everybody was, real excited. We don't got all day, but
We don't.
I'm going to ask one question. Because you said you're telling the whole story of WAMO, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Okay.
And we know there's some ugly
Absolutely.
at WAMO.
Absolutely.
How are you going to navigate that, telling this story? Because I don't want to say you don't want to piss people off, but at the same time, you want to tell the story and tell it authentically. And, you don't want people to say, oh, well, he's not talking about that because,
I think the thing that will always ring true, my dad told me to thine own self be true, and then some other stuff behind it. I know my heart relative to this. History is history.
Mm-hmm.
Good, bad, and ugly. Our country is settled in, a very dark at times history, as well as a very rich history. And I liken the story of WAMO to that. Obviously, there's much more upswing to me, and to what I want to tell than anything that would be negative. But, you don't understand the power of a beautiful day unless you have a couple rainy days, right?
True that.
And so for me, this is not for me to jump on, anybody's bandwagon to kind of, they did this and he did this and she did that. That's not the story. The story is to tell the history, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the legacy, and I'm going to tell it authentically. I'm telling it with love and respect. So yes, we're going to mention some of the things that may not necessarily rub the city the right way or even side people the right way. But ultimately, my desire is for the legacy, the truth, to be shown, to be, because I'm a part of that history. You're a part of that history, and everybody that we've named and so many more, they're part of that history. And, and I want that history to be preserved and documented.
I say, yeah, I like it. What's the name of the documentary? Well, I already said at the beginning.
Well, go ahead.
Say it again. Oh, WAMO